Welcome back to our deep dive. We're here to give you the most important knowledge and insights from our research, helping you get informed fast.
And today we're talking about something really practical.
Yeah, something that affects millions of people. We're looking at how to speak English with more self-assurance.
That's right. This session is all about building that speaking confidence, and we've designed it specifically for those of you at that pre-intermediate or intermediate level, A2 to B1.
So you already have the basics down.
Exactly. You
Mhm.
know the words, but the second you try to use them, your mind just freezes up. We've gone through some great material to find the simplest, most effective steps to help you feel better and more in control when you speak.
Okay, let's get into that. Because we have all been there, haven't we?
Oh, for sure.
I want you to just take a second and think about the last time you were in a really simple situation. Maybe ordering food or asking a quick question, and your brain just hit the panic button. Have you ever completely forgotten a really, really simple word? Like the word for car or book, even though you absolutely know it.
Yes, absolutely. That feeling of your mind going completely blank
Mhm.
is universal, but it's especially tough for language learners, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's this moment of just intense panic.
Mm-hmm.
I read this story about a student, and someone asked them what they did over the weekend,
Okay.
and they completely forgot the word for movie.
No way.
Yeah, even though they just watched three of them, they just stood there pointing at the ceiling and said, "The flashing pictures on the wall."
Wow, the flashing pictures on the wall. That's so relatable, though.
It is, and the lesson there is so important. Mistakes are going to happen, but it's the fear of making the mistake that actually causes us to forget the simplest things.
That really points to the core truth we found in all the research we looked at. The secret to speaking English well isn't about perfect grammar. The real secret is about speaking without being afraid. If you can learn to just manage that fear, your English is going to improve so much faster because you'll actually, use it.
Exactly. So, we've got a clear roadmap for you today. We're going to walk you through four main areas.
Okay, what are they?
First, we're going to define what true self-assurance actually looks like, and we'll talk about what habits might be holding you back right now.
Good.
Second, we'll get into the inner game, how to change your thinking, your mindset. Then third, we'll give you some really practical, instant techniques you can use anywhere, anytime you're speaking.
And the last part.
And finally, we'll share some simple daily habits that will help you build that confidence for the long term.
Perfect. Let's jump right in then. Section 1, what self-assurance really means and what stops it.
Let's do it.
When I used to think about confidence, I always imagined the loudest person in the room. The one who's always talking and using these big, complicated words.
Right, that's the stereotype.
But the sources we looked at, they painted a totally different picture. Real self-assurance isn't about being loud, is it?
Not at all. We're not trying to turn you into the person who has to dominate every single conversation.
So what is it then?
True self-assurance or confidence is really just about being comfortable with you. It's about trusting your ability to get your ideas across.
So trusting that you can communicate, even if it's not perfect.
Exactly. It's knowing, deep down, that if you stumble on a word or use the wrong verb, the world isn't going to end.
And the other person will probably still understand you.
Most of the time, yes.
Mhm.
They'll get your message.
I think that willingness to just try is the key thing. If you trust yourself, you stop waiting for the perfect moment to speak. It becomes more about taking chances.
It absolutely does. Think of it like a musician learning a new song.
Okay.
A confident learner doesn't just play the same 3 easy notes over and over again because they're safe.
Right. They try the hard parts.
They try the hard parts, even if they know they might hit a few wrong notes at first. They see speaking English like stepping onto a wet canvas.
A wet canvas. I like that.
Yeah, your steps might leave a little smudge, a little mess, but you step forward anyway because you want to create something.
Yeah.
You're willing to take that risk.
That's a great way to put it. And that brings us to the really important point about mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Most English learners see a mistake as like the end of the world, as proof that they're failing.
Yes, and that's where the idea of resilience comes in. It's so important.
Resilience.
If a confident person forgets a word, They don't let that one little mistake just stop the conversation cold. They don't get stuck in that feeling of embarrassment.
So what do they do instead?
They'll quickly try to say it a different way, or they'll ask for help,
Mm.
and then they keep going.
Okay, so if someone is listening right now at that A2 or B1 level, how would you explain resilience in a really simple way?
Resilience is like a soft rubber ball.
A rubber ball.
Yeah, if you drop it, it doesn't break. It just bounces back up really quickly. So you make a mistake, you drop the ball.
Yeah.
You don't stay down on the floor worrying about it.
You just pick it up and try
You
again.
pick yourself up, you learn what went wrong, and you try again. Confident speakers see mistakes not as failure, but as information. It's information they need to get better.
It's fascinating, too, that the sources also pointed to a much smaller, more subtle behavior that shows confidence, and that's the ability to just accept a compliment.
This is such a clear signal. Think about how often this happens. Someone says, "Wow, your English is really good."
And what does the learner say?
The learner almost always says, "Oh, no, my English is terrible. I make so many mistakes." They just push that good feedback away.
That's like a nervous habit, isn't it? We're so focused on criticizing ourselves that we can't let anything good in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But a person with true self-assurance, they just say, "Thank you." They just accept it. They know they're trying hard, and they accept that someone else can see that effort. It's a small action, but it's really powerful. To embrace compliments instead of pushing them away.
And there was one more trait that might actually surprise people. The research showed that people who are truly confident often listen more than they speak.
Yet, we always assume confidence means being loud and talking all the time. But often, the most secure people in the room are the most attentive.
Why is that?
Because they're secure enough that they don't feel this urgent need to fill every moment of silence with their own voice. They listen to actually understand the other person. And by the way, listening is fantastic, pressure-free practice.
That's a great point. Okay, so that gives us a really clear goal to aim for. But now let's look at the other side. What are the signs that fear might be controlling our speaking?
Right. If you recognize these signs in yourself, it just means you know exactly where you need to start working.
So what's the first one?
The first, and probably the biggest one, is the fear of being judged.
Ah, yes.
This fear is like carrying a heavy weight on your back. So many people spend all their mental energy worrying, what if they laugh at my accent? What if they think my grammar is stupid?
So they're focused on the judgment, not the communication.
Exactly. And that fear, it doesn't just stay in your head, does it? It shows up physically. It causes that immediate feeling of nervousness or anxiety, even in really simple conversations.
Yeah, and that anxiety is so clear in your body language.
Absolutely. We found a few key physical signs that really signal insecurity. First is avoiding eye contact, looking down or looking away all the time.
That sends a pretty clear message.
It does. It signals that you're not sure of yourself or what you're saying. And the second one is speaking too quietly. So quiet that people can't really hear you easily.
That's a big one. And speaking quietly, it creates this really difficult negative cycle, doesn't it?
Explain that.
Well, you sound less sure of yourself, which makes the listener have to work harder to understand you, and that might cause them to ask you to repeat yourself.
Which then makes you feel even less sure of yourself.
Exactly. It's a loop. So speaking clearly at a normal volume is so important for just sounding confident.
It's a habit we really have to break. Another big mental habit that holds people back is, it's just too much thinking.
Overthinking.
Yes. The habit of replaying conversations from yesterday or last week, just worrying about what you should have said differently.
We call that dwelling on past mistakes, right?
Right. You're just wasting so much energy criticizing a conversation that's already over. It can't be changed.
It's like your brain is using all its fuel to run backward.
That's a perfect way to describe it. Instead of using that energy to prepare for your next conversation, you're using it to punish yourself for the last one. If you find yourself doing that, you're dwelling, and that's a sign of low confidence.
And the final sign.
The last one is hesitation. This is when you're constantly pausing or delaying before you speak because you're so afraid of making a mistake.
You're trying to find the perfect word.
The perfect word, the perfect grammar before you even allow yourself to open your mouth. And that hesitation is the true enemy of fluency.
How so?
Because when you're constantly second-guessing yourself, it just slows down your entire learning process. It teaches your brain that speaking is this dangerous thing that you have to be really, really careful about.
And we need to teach it the opposite.
We need to teach the brain that speaking is safe and maybe even fun.
So if you recognize that quiet voice or the dwelling or the hesitation in yourself, that's actually great news.
It is, because now you know your target. It's okay to have these habits because self-assurance is a skill, and any skill can be learned.
All right, so let's move to section 2 and talk about how we start to win that inner game.
Let's do it. This next section is, I think, the most important one, because real confidence is built in your mind, not in a grammar book.
Okay.
And the biggest mistake that all the sources pointed to is that learners wait. They wait until they're perfect before they let themselves speak confidently.
That is such a huge trap. They set this impossible goal for themselves.
Exactly. They say, I'll feel confident after I know every single verb, tense, and 10,000 words.
And that day just never comes.
It never arrives. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Think about a construction worker building a giant wall.
Okay.
If he waits until he has all 10,000 bricks before he starts, he'll never even begin. He has to focus on laying just one good brick today.
We need to be more like children.
Yes. Children learning their first language make hundreds of mistakes every single day, but they never stop trying.
Because they're just focused on communicating, not on being perfect.
Their goal is just to get their message across, not to pass some kind of test.
So we need to stop aiming for flawless and start focusing on progress. This is where that idea of the 1% rule comes in.
The 1% rule makes everything so much simpler. Just says, don't worry about the 99% that you don't know yet.
Just focus on today.
Focus only on getting a tiny bit better today. Just 1%. Maybe one new word or one short conversation.
One small victory.
That's it. That's so much more important than being perfect.
And this leads to the big secret of building self-assurance, right? You
Yeah.
don't wait to feel confident before you act.
No, you have to act first. You take the action, and the feeling of confidence is the result that comes after.
It's like a chain reaction.
It is. You take a small action, you get a small success. That small success makes you feel a little bit more confident, and that confidence makes it easier to take the next action.
So if I'm understanding this right, if I feel nervous about speaking, the absolute last thing I should do is wait for that nervous feeling to go away.
Precisely.
I should do one tiny scary thing anyway, because that's what starts the confidence engine.
Exactly. You have to start small to build that momentum. Don't wait until you're ready to give a 3-hour presentation.
No.
Start with something tiny, like successfully ordering a coffee in English, or leaving a short voice message for a friend. When the goal is small, the fear is small,
And the success is basically guaranteed.
which starts that positive cycle immediately.
Momentum is so important, but I think the biggest thing that gets in the way of momentum is our own head, the voice inside our head.
Self-talk.
We have to talk about self-talk and how we speak to ourselves.
This is where we are our own worst enemy, isn't it? Our internal voice can be so mean.
You can.
People say things to themselves like, I always mess that up, or my accent is so bad, everyone thinks I'm an idiot.
Right.
I want you to try a quick test. Would you ever let your best friend talk to you that way?
Never. If my friend said, "You're hopeless at this, just give up," I would stop them right away. That's just cruel.
Of course. And yet we let our own minds repeat those same cruel things all day long. This is why we have to intentionally flip the script.
Of this grade.
We have to change that negative internal talk into something positive, something encouraging.
But what if someone tries this and it just feels weird? What if they say, "I am a good speaker," but in their head they're thinking, "No, I'm not." How do you get past that?
That's a great question, because it will feel strange at first.
Mm.
You have to treat your internal voice like a script that you are editing.
So you're the writer.
You're the writer. That awkward feeling is just your brain resisting the change. It's saying, wait, this is new. But if you keep doing it, the brain learns.
Can you give us some simple examples? How can we rephrase those negative thoughts using that A2B1 level English?
Of course. Let's say the negative thought is, I can't speak English well.
Okay,
You rephrase it as, I am learning and I am making good progress every day.
I like that. It's about progress.
What if the thought is, I'm going to embarrass myself if I speak?
Then you could say, I am brave enough to try.
I am brave enough to try, and my effort is more important than the result.
And if you make a mistake, instead of, I'm so
You
stupid,
say, that was a mistake, and now I know how to fix it for next time.
that's so powerful. The language you use in your own head actually changes your experience. You're changing the emotion from fear to encouragement.
And here's a practical trick from the sources.
Mm.
It sounds really simple, but it is incredibly powerful. It's the mirror trick.
The mirror trick.
Every morning, you stand in front of a mirror and you say one simple positive sentence about your English out loud.
Out loud.
Yes, you have to be able to hear it. You say, I am an effective English speaker, or I am improving quickly,
Why does saying it out loud in the mirror work so well?
because it forces two of your senses to work together.
Hmm.
You hear the positive message, and you see yourself as a capable person saying it.
Mm.
You're sending a double message to your brain that says, this is safe, and I can do this.
It helps stop the worry part of your brain from taking over.
It does. And as you're doing all this internal work, there's one more thing to remember. Don't compare yourself to other people.
That's a hard one.
It is, but you might see someone who seems to be learning faster, but that's their journey. It's not yours. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday.
Just focus on your own 1% of progress.
Exactly. So now that we have the right internal dialogue, we need to talk about how to actually take that mindset into the real world.
Okay.
And the research was very clear on this. Self-assurance grows outside of your comfort zone, but it has to be a gentle process.
Right. You can't just jump from zero practice to, say, a job interview in English. You need a step-by-step method.
This is what we call controlled exposure. It means you gradually increase how much you use English, but you control the speed and the challenge.
You're challenging yourself a little, but not completely overwhelming yourself.
You're leaving the comfort zone, but you're not jumping off a cliff.
It's like walking into a cold swimming pool.
How so?
You don't just jump into the deep end, right? You put one foot in, then the other. You let yourself adjust slowly. So what are those first steps?
We recommend starting with the safest possible step. Step 1 is just talking to yourself in English.
All alone.
Completely alone. Zero risk of anyone judging you. Just describe your room, your plans for the day. You're just practicing making sentences.
Okay, what's step 2?
Step 2 is low-pressure written communication. You increase the pressure just a little bit. Send a friend a simple greeting in English on a text message.
So it's written, which gives you time to check your words.
Right. And then step 3 is low-pressure spoken communication. This could be talking to a teacher you trust, or finding a simple online language group where everyone is a beginner.
The key is that the people have to be patient and encouraging.
Yes, because as you said earlier, the brain learns from these small successes.
It does.
The more you take these small, manageable steps, the more your brain learns that crucial lesson. Hey, I tried to speak English and nothing bad happened. This isn't scary.
I love that. You're not just learning words, you're actually training your brain to be brave.
Exactly. Start small, be kind to yourself, and take one gentle step today.
Okay, so now that we have the right mindset, let's talk about the practical tools you can use while you're speaking to feel more confident right away.
Right. The first rule for confident speaking is simple. Prioritize fluency over grammar.
Fluency over grammar.
Focus completely on getting your message understood. If the other person understands you, your English is working. It's successful.
I think a lot of learners get confused between fluency, which is speaking with a nice flow, and accuracy, which is perfect grammar.
You do.
And if I stop every 3 words to check if I use the right tense, I lose all my flow and I start to sound really nervous.
That is exactly the problem. Stopping all the time just makes you more nervous, and it makes the listener have to work harder. The most confident speakers are the ones who keep the conversation going, even with a few small mistakes.
Your goal is to be understood, not to win a grammar award.
Exactly. And we also have to talk about the power of using simple language.
Yes.
There's this common idea that you have to use complicated words to sound smart, but the research actually suggests the opposite. Confidence comes from being clear, not complicated.
So simple, direct sentences show that you're focused and sure of yourself.
Right. Don't try to use some huge word you just learned if you aren't sure how it fits. Use the words you know well.
Can we do an example, like a complicated way to ask for directions versus a simple, confident way?
Sure, a complicated, nervous way might be. Pardon me. I was wondering if you might have the adequate knowledge to inform me of the route toward the station.
That's long and stressful and confusing.
And the simple, confident way.
Excuse me, where is the station?
Or, can you help me? I need the train station. Simple is clear, and clear sounds confident.
And when we feel nervous, we often speak way too quickly.
It's a physical reaction to stress. Our heart beats faster, and we try to get the words out as fast as possible to end the stressful situation.
Which leads to more mistakes.
Exactly. So the simple technique is just to slow down and breathe.
How does that physically help?
Taking a deep breath before you speak helps reset your nervous system. It makes your voice sound calmer, more controlled, and when you speak slowly, you give your brain a few extra milliseconds to find the right words,
And it helps the other person understand you better, too.
which immediately lowers your stress.
Okay, we've talked about words, but we need to talk about the silent language, our body. How you carry yourself has a huge effect on how you feel.
A huge effect. Let's compare the two postures. If you're nervous, your body tries to get smaller.
Right, it might be slouching with your shoulders forward.
Avoiding eye contact, playing with your hands. That posture sends a signal to your brain that says, I'm hiding.
And what does a high confidence posture look like, even if you don't feel it inside?
High confidence is open. You're standing straight, shoulders back, looking people in the eye. You're just taking up space naturally.
And this is where it gets really cool. We can use what's called the act as if trick to actually change how we feel.
This is a fantastic technique. Even if you feel really nervous inside, you can choose to act like you're confident. Stand tall, keep your chin up, and smile a little. You're basically pretending for just a couple of minutes.
And what does that do inside our brains?
When you force that confident posture, your body sends signals back to your brain. You're telling your brain everything is fine, I'm in control.
So it can actually reduce stress hormones.
Yes, and make you feel better automatically. You're using your body to give your brain a positive message. By acting confident, you help yourself feel better, which leads to clearer speech.
It's a feedback loop you can control.
Total control. Now let's apply these tools to some real-life situations. Let's start with the simplest. Talking to strangers.
Okay, the pressure here is usually low because the conversation is short. We already said to use short, direct sentences. But what's the most important skill to have here?
The most important skill is not feeling bad about asking for help.
What do you mean?
A confident speaker knows their limits. If the person you're talking to speaks too fast, you have to be able to interrupt them politely and ask for clarity.
Give us the phrases. What are some simple, confident ways to ask someone to slow down?
You can say, I'm sorry, I'm still learning English. Could you speak a little slower, please? Or, I don't understand that word. Can you say it another way?
You shouldn't feel bad about that.
Not at all. Most people will be happy to help someone who is trying so hard. Asking for help is actually a sign of confidence.
Okay, now let's talk about a much harder situation. Group conversations.
Ah, yes.
When the conversation is moving really fast between 3 or 4 people, it can feel impossible to jump in.
That speed is really intimidating. So, the first tip is simple. Listen first.
You don't have to talk all the time.
No. Confident people listen to find the right moment. And if you're nervous, just start by joining in with very short, simple responses. Things like, that's interesting, or I agree with that.
That helps you get your voice in the conversation. But what if I want to add a longer thought? I really like the suggestion in the sources called the joining trick. Can you explain that?
The joining trick is brilliant. It uses what the person before you said as a kind of bridge for your own idea.
So you repeat a little piece of what they said?
Exactly. Just 3 or 4 words, and then you add your thought. It makes you sound connected to the conversation instead of like you're interrupting.
Can we do a quick example? Let's say we're talking about food and fitness.
Okay, so I'll say, I think running in the morning is the best way to start the day, even if it's cold.
Okay, so the learner hears running in the morning. Then they'd say, yes, running in the morning really helps wake you up. I find that if I listen to music, it makes the time go faster.
See how smooth that was? You acknowledge my point, and then you transitioned right into your own idea. It gives you a few extra seconds to organize your thought.
That makes it feel much less scary. Okay, finally, let's talk about formal situations. Meetings, interviews. The pressure is highest here.
When the pressure is high, the key is preparation. You can't just rely on thinking quickly. You have to practice answering common questions out loud before you go.
So you should write down your key points.
In simple English, yes. Knowing what you want to say ahead of time reduces nervousness so much.
And once you're in that meeting or interview, those body language tips are crucial.
Absolutely. Speak slowly, project your voice, and sit or stand up straight. When you speak slowly in a formal situation, it sounds professional and thoughtful, not nervous. It shows you're in control.
So by using these strategies, you're taking the power away from your anxiety and giving it back to your communication skills.
Exactly. And now we can move to the final, and maybe the most important section. Confidence isn't a gift. It's the result of daily habits.
Consistent, small practice.
And the good news is, you don't need a language partner for these. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a huge difference.
Okay, let's go through the 4 simple habits the sources recommended. The first one is the ultimate pressure-free practice. Talk to yourself.
This means you just describe your day, or your room, or what you're doing out loud, even when you're alone. For 10 minutes, just narrate your life. I am washing the dishes. The blue car is driving fast.
And why is that so powerful for confidence?
Because you're building sentence structure without any pressure, but more importantly, you're getting comfortable hearing your own voice speak English.
So it starts to sound normal to you?
Yes. It normalizes the sound, which makes you more relaxed when you speak in public. You're training your voice muscles without any risk.
The second technique is great for improving the sound and rhythm of your English. Shadowing.
Shadowing is when you listen to a native speaker, maybe on a simple video or a podcast, and you immediately repeat what they say, like an echo. You try to match their speed and their sound exactly.
Where should our listeners find things to shadow?
Start simple. Don't pick a fast political debate. Choose content that's made for learners, or a simple cooking video where the speaker is slow and clear.
And you're trying to copy their rhythm, not just the words.
Exactly. It trains your mouth and your face muscles. English uses muscle movements that might not be in your native language. Shadowing trains those muscles, which improves your pronunciation and your fluency.
Our third habit is one that's often forgotten, but it's so basic. Read out loud.
Just take any English text, a story, a news article, a sign on the street, and read aloud for 10 minutes every day.
I see the muscle training benefit here again. When I read silently, it's just my brain. When I read aloud, my mouth has to practice making the words.
Exactly. It trains your mouth muscles to make English words automatically. It helps you stop translating in your head before you speak.
Okay, and the last technique. This one might be the most uncomfortable at first, but it gives you the clearest proof of your progress.
Record yourself speaking.
Ugh, nobody likes the sound of their own voice.
I know. But use your phone's voice recorder. Give yourself a simple topic, like your favorite vacation, and just speak for 5 minutes. Then, listen back.
So if the listener feels really weird about listening to themselves, how should they think about it?
You have to treat the recording like a tool, not a mirror, for you to criticize yourself.
It's just data.
It's powerful proof. Make a recording today, then make another one in a month, and compare them. You'll hear a difference. Maybe you pause less, or your pronunciation is clearer.
And that proof is a massive confidence boost.
A huge boost. Before we finish, we just have to come back to that one fear that stops so many people. The fear of judgment.
If someone is still worried that people will laugh at their mistakes, what's the one thing they need to remember?
You have to shift your focus from yourself to the listener. Most people are not counting your grammar mistakes.
They're focused on what you're saying, the message.
Yes. They're usually just happy that you're making the effort to communicate with them in a different language.
That's so true. If someone speaks my language and makes a few mistakes, I don't judge them. I'm just impressed that they're trying.
Exactly. The listener is appreciating your effort, not looking for perfection.
So the final message here is simple. Be kind to yourself.
Stop being your own biggest critic. Every single mistake is not a failure. It's just proof that you are trying and learning.
Remember the rubber ball. If you make a mistake, just bounce back and keep going.
And try to find an encouraging environment. Surround yourself with people who support your learning, not people who criticize you. A supportive environment makes a huge difference.
Wow, we have covered a complete journey today. From the mental traps to changing our thoughts, and finally to these powerful daily habits like shadowing.
And our core message is still the same. Self-assurance is not something you get, it's something you build every day.
It's not built by waiting for perfection.
It's built through small actions, a kinder inner voice, and consistent practice.
And remember, every single fluent English speaker started exactly where you are now. As a beginner, struggling to find the words. The only difference is they chose to practice, and they allowed themselves to make mistakes without fear.
The perfect moment to start speaking with confidence isn't tomorrow or next week.
The perfect moment is right now.
Before you go, we want to leave you with a final thought. This is your immediate task. Think about one small action you can take today, not tomorrow, to use your English.
Will you talk to yourself while you make dinner? Will you try the mirror trick tomorrow morning?
Or maybe text a friend a short message in English. Pick one simple thing and do it right away. That first small action is the beginning of real confidence.
And as we went through this, we introduced some really powerful ideas to help you grow. Things like understanding resilience, that rubber ball idea, stopping hesitation, and learning to embrace compliments.
Carry those ideas with you. They are the foundation for your new, confident English-speaking life. We really hope this gave you the tools and the motivation you need.
Now here is your call to action. We want to hear from you.
Yes, we do.
What is the one word or lesson you learned today? Write it in the comments below. Let us know which one of these tips you're going to try first. We love seeing your progress.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into building your speaking confidence. Keep practicing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep growing.